අලුත් එකක්ද දැන් යන්නේ එතකොට? ලින්ක් එක වෙනස් නේ? අර ලින්ක් එකමද? YouTube ලින්ක් එක? ආ සரி. Right. Okay. Right, so I think we are online. Yeah. Shall we start? Okay. Right. So we actually discussed 6 model questions and like the model question papers, and this is the 6th discussion. So like so far this is the like most difficult MCQ paper, as the students said they had out of all the papers they did. And yeah, let's start discussing, right? Yes. So like going through each and every question, like try to take notes. If there's any of a question you are not very much familiar with, take a note, try to understand it, and use what you understood for the upcoming questions, right? So first question is not a similarity between two types of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. So they're asking something, not a similarity, right? Not a similarity between prokaryote and eukaryotic cells, right? So we'll check each and every answer. First one, presence of a cell plasma membrane. So that's a common feature, isn't it, for both the prokaryotes and eukaryotes? Presence of cell plasma membrane is common, so it's not a difference, right? So this is not the answer, right? Second one, presence of a cytoplasm. So in both prokaryotes and eukaryotes, the cytoplasm is present, right? So it's not the answer as well. Presence of ribosomes. Of course, the ribosomes are present in both the prokaryotes and eukaryotes, and in eukaryotes it's 80s ribosomes, and in prokaryotes it's 70s ribosomes, right? Still they both have the prokaryote, the prokaryote and eukaryote both have these ribosomes, so not the answer, right? Presence of membranous organelles. Now this is the point there, right? Membranous organelles. So when we talk about the membranous organelles, only the eukaryotes have evolved up to have these membranous organelles, right? Only the eukaryotes have evolved up to have membranous organelles, but the prokaryotes doesn't have any of the membranous organelles, including an organized nucleus, right? And an organized nucleus is also one of a membranous organelle, right? So the answer is this, right? The difference between two of the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So answer should be 4. Presence of genetic material is also there in both the eukaryotes and prokaryotes, right? Let's come to the second question. Hydrolytic enzymes in a cell are stored in. So hydrolytic enzymes are basically stored in lysosomes, right? Lysosomes. So they're called as suicidal bags as well. Suicidal bags in the sense they carry the digestive enzymes to digest each and every part of a cell, which are lipids, proteins, nucleic acids, or anything. So they called suicidal bags, because once the cells are aged or when the cells are damaged, these suicidal bags or lysosomes will release their enzymes and will digest the cell itself. So it's called a suicidal bag, right? So hydrolytic enzymes are basically stored in lysosomes, right? Lysosomes. So this is under microbiology 3. We discussed it. If you can't remember, now these type of questions aren't there yet in the paper. So that's a good point. So maybe this time in 2026, if you studied more about the organelles, right? That is in microbiology 3, about the organelles, its functions, like the cell organelles. So about the cell organelles, its functions and its features, right? There can be extra questions about them because they haven't asked yet much you know. So remember that, like, study the cell organelles, its features and its functions under the microbiology 3, right? They can be more there in your paper. There's a chance. That's what I'm saying, right? So the next one, one of the main issues, right? One of the main issues responsible for secondary growth in the stem of a dicotyledonous plant, right? Sorry, one of the main tissues responsible for secondary growth in a stem of a dicotyledonous plant is the vascular cambium, of course. A false statement regarding the vascular cambium. The cork cambium is formed by epidermal cells obtaining the meristematic action. So yeah, so this is about like the cork cambium, right? Not the vascular cambium. Still, I think it is mostly discussing about the cork cambium, so we'll refer to that. The cork cambium is formed by the epidermal cells obtaining meristematic action. So that is true, right? The cork cambium is formed by epidermal cells obtaining meristematic action. That is true, right? A false statement they are asking, right? The interfascicular cambium and the intrafascicular cambium join to form the vascular cambium ring. Even that is true, right? So if you can remember at the very beginning of plant stem, before the secondary growth, there's intrafascicular cambium, right? There's intrafascicular cambium inside a vascular bundle, right? So there's a vascular bundle with xylems and phloems, usually the xylems inside and the phloems outside, right? And there's a cambium in between these two xylems and phloems. It is called intrafascicular cambium, right? It is called intrafascicular cambium. And this intrafascicular cambium is later becoming connected with a new cambium produced between two of the you know, these like in between two of the vascular bundles, right? There's like a new cambium produced in between two of the vascular bundles, and that is called intrafascicular cambium, right? That is called intrafascicular cambium. So there's interfascicular cambium inside the vascular bundle, and there's interfascicular cambium produced in between two of the vascular bundles, and these two cambiums together, the intrafascicular cambium and interfascicular cambium together, is producing the vascular cambium, and the vascular cambium divides xylem, secondary xylems toward the center, and produces or divides secondary phloems outward the center, and the rate of production of secondary xylems are faster than the rate of production of secondary phloems, right? So those details should be in your mind, right? So anyways, that point is correct. Third one, the cork cambium is a secondary meristematic tissue. What do you say? The cork cambium is a secondary meristematic tissue. Of course, that is correct. Is arranged as a single layer of cells is also correct, right? The action of the cork cambium produces the cork on the outside. Yes, dead cork on the outside and the secondary cortex on the inside. That is true. Which one is false now? Interfascicular and the intrafascicular cambium joins to form the vascular cambium. That is even true. Cork cambium is formed by epidermal cells obtaining meristematic action. That is all true. One, why? What is the reason the one is the answer? Can you explain? Cork cambium is formed by epidermal cells obtaining meristematic action. That is true. Epidermal in the sense the cells in the you know, this in the cork, right? Basically the cells in the cork gets the meristematic action to produce the co-cambium. That's what usually happens. Hold on for a second. The answer actually should be corrected here as co-cambium. In the single medium one, it's given correctly. This should be co-cambium, and if it, like the interfascicular cambium and the intrafascicular cambium join to form the co-cambium is the given answer. So it has like a typo, a typing mistake. Like the correct answer has typed. So it should be co-cambium here, and it's wrong. So the wrong answer is actually 2. So for you people, just take it as a correct answer. For the English medium people, it's okay to take it as a all, right? Take it as a correct answer. So the answer like 2 should be corrected. The vascular cambium should be corrected as co-cambium, and they form the vascular cambium actually. So the answer 2 is the answer, right? So they're asking the false answer, so the false answer is actually the second one, right? Right, let's go to the fourth one. Examples of tropical moist evergreen, tropical dry mix evergreen, and tropical montane forest, right, in Sri Lanka are respectively. Okay, so examples of tropical moist evergreen are like the lowland wet-zone forest, basically. Tropical dry mix evergreen is like mostly around Sigiri area. You know, they are like tropical dry mixed evergreen, and tropical montane are few are there, right? So out of these, Singaraja is of course moist evergreen is correct, and we take Retigala. Retigala is I think it's tropical dry mix, the Retigala one. We'll have to check, right? So the forest tissue. Hold on for take the forest tissue. Forest tissue. So these type of questions also can be there, right? So in the 2025 paper, 2025 past paper, the very first question was out of these forest, and it was asked about the primary wet evergreen forest, right? They asked for a primary wet evergreen forest. So the answer was Kanneliya, right? Answer was Kanneliya. So it is not a primary one. That was the only answer available there. So the for the 2025 past paper, the first question answer was Kanneliya. The question was asked like, what is the primary wet evergreen forest of the answers given. So the only primary wet evergreen forest in Sri Lanka is Singaraja actually, but still only some of the areas of Singaraja should be the correct answer. But out of the answers given, Kanneliya was the answer, like only answer left there. Out of wet evergreen forest, all the others were like montane forests. So that was the only answer available there. And we actually went on a trip to the Kanneliya, right? And come to the this one, the fourth one under that. So now there can be more questions on forest. So like if like something like this, like the forests are given, and you have to find the examples of forest under the type of forest, right? So you have to remember all the examples, and maybe sometimes they might will ask about the tree types or the features in the forests as well. So study them as well, right? And we have done so many questions out under that as well, right? Right? They'll be useful. So forest. Okay. So under the forest, montane forest. So tropical dry mix evergreen forests are like Sigiriya, Pidurangala and Reticula, right? So Reticula is tropical dry mix evergreen, of course. So Reticula can't be an answer for the first one. Carnelia and these all four are correct for the first answer. So we can take off this one. So for a tropical dry mix, Reticula is correct, right? Reticula is correct. And Carnelia is correct. Pidurutalagal is not, right? Pidurutalagal is one of a mountain forest, so not this one. Opat Talava, I'm not really sure about it. We will keep it for a second. The last one is a mountain forest. What is a mountain forest out of these? Singaraj Carnelia. Is Haggala a mountain forest? We'll have to check. Savannah or the mountains forest. Okay. Okay, we have mountain. Mountain forest. Can you tell me the examples I have given you in the tute? Because some of them are like spaces. So I think I have given you the forest. Alright, examples of mountain forests include Haggala, Pidruthalagal, Horton Plain, Kikliyamana. Kikliyamana is also one of a mountain forest. So this one, right? Kikliyamana. So answer should be 4. Answer should be 4. Yeah. Singaraja, Carnelia, Haggala. Carnelia doesn't come under the dry mixed. So this is also wrong. The answer should be 4, right? Answer should be 4. Yeah, the answer is 4. That's for the fourth. Yeah, answer is 4. Fourth question, answer 4. Right, let's go to the next one. Shrimp and bees are economical value belongs. They are all arthropods, right? Arthropods. Shrimp and bees are basically arthropods, right? And factors that do not, like, you'll have to study these animal parts as well. So out of the animals, most of the structured essay questions were out of fish, bee and the prawn, right? So the one which is left to come is chicken, right? The chicken, and probably right? So not sure. You should study the chicken apart from all the 3 animals, right? Because chicken hasn't come yet to any of a paper. So remember to study the chicken part as well. Favorite lesson. Which one? Animals. So yeah, remember to study the chickens and its parts, and basically its behaviors and how to farm them, sort of things. Just try to remember them. Okay. Animals for real. Anyways, right. So factors that do not affect the rate of reaction all the time. So there are 4 of the factors affecting the rate of reaction. What are the 4 factors affecting the rate of reaction? Basically, it's concentration, temperature, then the nature of the reactants, which is the surface area, which is about it, whether it is powder or in crystal form, and the presence of catalyst, right? So those 4 are there: temperature, concentration, presence of catalyst, surface area of the reactants, which means the nature of the reactants. And this pressure is also there, but it's there as an exception. If it is a gas, instead of concentration, you can take the pressure. If it is a gas, instead of concentration, you can take the pressure. Think of a balloon with reactants, like gaseous reactants inside a balloon, right? Now there's a balloon with gaseous reactants, and if you pressure it, the volume will be reduced. So the volume reduced mean the concentration is increased, isn't it? Volume reduced means concentration increase. So when you apply the pressure, the concentration will increase. So in gaseous reactants, instead of the concentration, you can take the pressure, right? So but it's an exception, right? So out of the four main factors affecting pressure is a like exception. So the answer should be pressure. Factors that do not affect the rate of reaction all the time. Good question, right? It's somewhat good question because like all the answers are true, but pressure does not affect all the time. It only affects if it is a gas, right? So it's a good question, right? Right. So come to the seventh question. H2O2 is converted into H2O plus O2, right? The heterogeneous catalyst that catalyze this reaction is manganese dioxide, MnO2. This is there in the practical guide as well, right? So I'm like I have the practical guide already, and I'm gonna soon provide it, and there will be a practical night for the people, right? There will be a practical night. I'll tell you the exact date. We'll be discussing the practicals, and we'll be doing some of the practicals, and we'll be discussing structured essays coming under those practicals, right? We'll be discussing few of the structured essays coming under the practicals. We're doing some of the practicals, and we'll be discussing all the practicals in the practical guide, right? Eighth question, not a natural polymer, right? Not a natural polymer. This is a good question. Cellulose is a natural polymer, of course. Phytine is a natural polymer. Now, out of these, amylose is a natural polymer. Glycogen is also a natural polymer. But lipids are not polymers. That's the point there, right? This comes under the biomolecules, right? This comes under the biomolecules. The lipids are not polymers, but they are of course natural, right? So the question tries to mislead you. Not a natural polymer. Sometimes maybe you will hit on like you will answer like something different because lipid is natural. The question is actually about if it is a polymer or not, rather than if it is natural or not, right? You get it? Lipid is of course natural, but it's not a polymer. So this is under the biochemistry. It's a good question. Lipids are of course natural, but lipids are not categorized under the polymers. Proteins are polymers. Then the carbohydrates are polymers, right? Carbohydrates are polymers. Then nucleic acids, if they were DNA and RNA, they are all polymers. Out of all these biomolecules, only the lipids are not polymers, right? So you have to remember that lipids are not polymers. Take a note on that. Lipids are not polymers. Ninth question, does not belong to the category of thermoplastics. Thermoplastics. So basically these PP, PS, P, everything are like plastic, right? Thermoplastic. Thermoplastic in the sense when you apply the heat, you can easily change its shape. Like applying the heat, you can easily change the shape of the substance, and when the heat is removed, the object will come back to the natural state back again. And again, if you heat it, you can again change the shape of the substance, right? So that's thermoplastic, like the PVC. When you apply the heat, you can bend it, you can increase the size of it, sort of everything can be done there, right? Right. Right. So come to the next one. No, this one. So PE, PP, PS, everything are like thermoplastic. Even nylon is thermoplastic for a little extent, for a little extent. But bakelite are thermostable. So there are two type of polymers depending on the heat nature of, like, depending on the nature applied after the heat. So one is thermoplastic, the other one is thermostable, right? So only two examples are there which are thermostable, that is bakelite and urea formaldehyde. Remember that, bakelite and urea formaldehyde. And those two answers are there under the thermostables, right? So thermostable polymers, urea formaldehyde and bakelite, and bakelite is also known as phenol formaldehyde. If there's an answer instead of bakelite, phenol formaldehyde, remember the phenol formaldehyde actually is the bakelite, right? Bakelites are the ones that we used to like make the switchboards. Switchboards are the bakelites, right? So bakelite is phenol formaldehyde and the other one is urea formaldehyde, right? Remember that. So the answer is 5. To the 9th question, it's 5. 10. The catalytic enhancers used for ammonia production, it's basically iron, right? Iron. Catalytic enhancer for the iron, for the ammonia production is iron, right? Iron. 11. The purpose of adding NaCl, the aqueous phase is in soap production is 2. The purpose of adding NaCl to the aqueous phase. Now it has 2 of the reasons. You add a brine solution or a sodium chloride solution basically. So brine is basically the sea salt solution, right? Or you can call it the salt solution. So NaCl solution is added to the solution or the soap production mixture to do 2 of the things. One of the thing is one of the very main thing is to remove glycerin, right? One of the very main thing is to remove glycerin. You're adding sodium chloride solution to remove glycerin. Second reason is when you add more salt, the soap will become more solidified or undissolved form. Do you understand that? We discussed this under we discussed this with an example that if you apply soap in the sea, right? If you apply soap in the sea, it won't dissolve in the sea water and it will form sort of like not the suspensions. They will form like they won't dissolve in the water is the basic thing, and there's a reason for that. The reason is the equilibrium. We discussed it. So there's an equilibrium of soap dissolution, right? There's equilibrium of salt dissolution, and basically let's say this is soap, right? This is soap, right? And when you apply water, right? When you apply water, this will dissolve. In the sense, you don't have to like put it in the water. This will dissolve in this way, COO minus plus sodium, right? This is dissolution. This is the soap, right? This is soap in solid form, and this is dissolved soap, right? And there's sort of a theory called Le-Chatelier theory. So in the Le-Chatelier theory, it says if you cause any of a disturbance, right? If you cause any of a disturbance to the equilibrium will be reformed to remove the disturbance. So adding more salt is disturbing the equilibrium, right? Adding more salts is disturbing the equilibrium. So if the sodium ions, when you add sodium chloride, it's basically sodium and chlorine ions you're adding, right? So if you increase the amount of sodium in the mixture, it means you disturb this equilibrium, right? So because you disturb the equilibrium will reset in a way the disturbance is removed. So to remove the disturbance, now the disturbance is increased sodium ions. To remove the disturbance, the equilibrium will go more towards the reverse, because if the reverse reaction happens more, sodium will bind with this and will produce more undissolved soap, right? Will produce more undissolved soap. In that way, the sodium ions are removed. That is how the equilibrium removes the disturbance, right? So basically, when there's more sodium ions, the soap won't be dissolved, which means the soap will stay in its solid state. So that is one of the reason you add the salt solution. When you add salt solutions, the soap will be condensed or will be in its undissolved format. will be more solidified, right, when you apply the sodium chloride, right. And the other thing, the main thing is to remove glycerin, right. Two of the things are there. So we discuss all that, and let's say this sort of questions can be there, like what. The other type of question can be there is like something like this. If there was more salt, right? If there was more salt in the mixture, what could be the what would be an issue that can occur in the soap at the final production, right? If there's more salt in the soap, what could be the issues that can occur, right? If there's more salt in the soap, what could be the issues can occur, right? If there was more salt in the soap, you should understand that it will cause more of the reverse reaction, which means it will reduce the dissolution of the soap, right? If there's more salt added in the mixture, it will reduce the dissolution of soap, right? Those sort of like questions can be there. Right, let's come back to the paper. Okay, the purpose of adding NaCl aqueous phase in soap production is to basically to facilitate the separation of glycerol, right? That is the main reason, right? So the 12th question, in paper production, making pulp by mechanical method brings. So in mechanical methods, what you basically do is you don't remove much of lignin. So 95% of lignin is there, and you are adding a binder to make the pulp. So the yield will be more, right? So if you compare the yield of mechanical and the chemical methods, chemical method has 50% of yield, and this mechanical method has 95% of a yield, because you don't remove the lignin, right? In the chemical method, you add chemicals to remove lignin, so the yield is less because the lignin is all gone. And so in the mechanical method, the yield will be more, but the quality of the paper is bit reduced, and it's more productive though, right? The mechanical method is more productive. So in the answers, the quality of the paper is increased. No, it's decreased. A higher pulp percentage can be obtained. This is correct. The pulp percentage is high. This is correct. The rest of the answer should be incorrect. Lignin is well removed from the cellulose. No, it's in the chemical method, right? Pigment bleaching is easy. Not really. A thin pulp can be obtained. No, a very thick pulp, right? So the answer is actually 2. Answer is actually 2. 13. A secondary metabolite containing nitrogen is. Now this part as well, right? Remember, when it comes to the nitrogen, out of the natural products, the secondary metabolites we discussed. Remember this point. In alkaloids, under the alkaloids, we discussed that all the alkaloids are started with an amino acid, right? All the alkaloids produced are starting with an amino acid, but they are not proteins. There was a point like that in the tute, right? Read it again. So in the tute it says all the alkaloids start with an amino acid, but they are not proteins. All the alkaloids start with an amino acid, but they are not proteins. So basically all the amino acids, basically all the alkaloid has to have a nitrogen in their molecule, because they all start with an amino acid, right? So out of these, citral, eugenol, phenol, lignin, caffeine is actually an amino acid. Caffeine is actually an alkaloid, right? Is actually an alkaloid, right? 14th question: the liquid used to separate natural products through liquid extraction should, right? So if you are using liquid extraction or the solvent extraction, this is solvent extraction, the solvent should be really volatile. Other than that, the polarity, everything depends on the things you dissolve in it, right? It can change, but it definitely should be volatile, because if you take a solvent and extract something, and you want it to be isolated, I mean the compound. Let's say you are taking a substance dissolved in a solvent and you want this A isolated. What you do actually is you put them in a watch glass, right? You put them in a watch glass and you heat it up, right? You heat it up. When you heat up, the solvent will actually escape. So a very thin film of A substance will be remaining on the top of the glass lid, and this very thin film can be taken to do the qualitative analysis. So there are two types of analysis. One is qualitative, the other one is quantitative. The very thin film is enough for a qualitative analysis, not for a quantitative analysis. So for a qualitative analysis, this thin film will be enough. So mostly if you are doing the solvent extraction, that is to separate sort of a substance or a compound, and to do the qualitative analysis or the identification test, mostly. So the solvent should be volatile is one of the very good points, right? So always be polar. It depends on the compound you are extracting. Doesn't have to be polar always. It should always be non-polar. No, polarity depends on the substance you are extracting. 3. The lower boiling point must be maintained. That is true. The boiling point should be lower because at the end you will have to heat the solvent and escape it and get the residue of the extracted sample or the substance, right? This is somewhat correct. We'll check the other answers as well. High boiling point must be maintained. No, it should be less volatile is also wrong. So answer should be actually 3, right? Answer should be actually 3, right? Remember all that, right? 15. Not a greenhouse gas. Not a greenhouse gas. Right. So not a greenhouse gas, right? Not a greenhouse gas. Now, out of these, CFC, CO2, water vapor, N2O, ozone, they are all basically greenhouse gases, right? And now these questions are really good, you know. Geeshan, this is for the 15th question, no, right? It's 3. And this is a good question as well. So not a greenhouse gas in the sense, so CFC, CO2, water vapor, N2O, ozone, each and every gas are actually, greenhouse gases. But under the tute, this is under environmental chemistry. Under the tute it says, if you can remember, water is not considered as an greenhouse gas, right? Though it has the greenhouse effect, it is not considered as a greenhouse gas. Why? The reason is always the amount of water in the atmosphere are a constant value, right? The amount of water vapor in the atmosphere is a constant value, and the reason is because, like, when more water vapors escapes into the atmosphere, they will condense and that will make rain, right? So if there is more water vapor escape to the atmosphere, they will condense and make rain, and those rains will fall down to the earth, and they will make much more groundwater, and the water levels in the water reservoirs increase. But still the atmospheric water level will be a constant value, because if it exceeds the level of atmospheric water level, start to rain, right? So because of that, the water vapor, right? Because of that, water vapor, not a greenhouse gas, right? Good question. 16. Select the false statement. Carbon dioxide dissolving water makes the water acidic. That is, We'll check the other answers as well. Carbon dioxide causes acid rain. This is wrong. Right? This is wrong. Carbon dioxide does not cause acid rain. Right? But this is somewhat correct. Why? Carbon dioxide dissolves in water, makes water acidic. That is true. Like carbon dioxide dissolved in water is making the carbonic acid, right? Is making the carbonic acid, and it's acidic, of course, but it is not acidic enough to make acid rain, right? It is not acidic enough to make acid rain, because to any of a gas to be enough to make acidic rain, it should be below 5.7 pH, right? The pH level should be below 5.7. So the carbon dioxide never goes below 5.7, right? So you like dissolve tons of carbon dioxide in water, it won't go below 5.7. So any of a gas dissolves in water and reduces the pH below 5.7 is can cause acidic rains, right? So the carbon dioxide does not do that. This is correct, this is wrong. They are asking for the false statement. So the second is false, of course. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas, that is correct. Carbon dioxide is a trace gas because it's a trace element, like is a trace molecule, like it's 0.3 some sort of percentage, right? 0.3 something of a percentage, so it's a trace gas, of course, that is true. And carbon dioxide is essential for survival of life, of course. It's one of a material in photosynthesis. Without it, the photosynthesis won't occur, right? So yeah, carbon dioxide is must. The answer is actually 2 for the 16th question. 17. The International Convention for Protection of the Ozone Layer. So this question was already there in many times. I think we discussed 3 of the protocols, and we agreed to remember them. The Montreal, Cancun, and there's another one. Montreal, Cancun, and Kyoto were the 3. And out of these 3, one was for the ozone. The other 2 were basically for the greenhouse gases. Not some were directly for the greenhouse gases, and the others were for the about global warming or something, right? So Montreal Convention was about ozone layer, about the ozone depletion, right? And Kyoto and Kyoto and Cancun were about greenhouse gases, right? We discuss it that way. 18th question. So the answer is 1 for the 17th one. The process in which Azotobacter participates in the nitrogen cycle. So Azotobacter is found in many of the other places. Azotobacter we found in aerobic bacteria. Out of 2 of the examples, Azotobacter, Acidobacter. Azotobacter is one of the aerobic bacteria, but in the nitrogen cycle we find these Azotobacters under nitrogen fixing bacteria. There are 2 types of nitrogen fixing bacteria, and each had 3 examples, right? So there are 2 types of nitrogen fixing bacteria. One type is free living, the other type is making what do you call it? Making can you come up with the term? One type is free living, the other type is it lives with another species. You call it a name. Yeah, the symbiotics. The others are symbiotic. Good, Geeshan, thank you. So the others are symbiotic, right? So there are 2 types, having symbiotic relationships and the free living. So this Azotobacter actually belongs to the type which are free living, right? Which are free living. The Rhizobium and all are symbiotic, and Azotobacter is free living. So the process in which Azotobacter participates in the nitrogen cycle is nitrogen fixation, right? Answer 5. Question number 19. Which of the following devices is not an input device? Of course, a printer, right? It's output device. Barcode reader, mouse, scanner, microphone, all are input devices. 20. Not a service related to file management contained in the operating system. Deleting unnecessary articles, file management related. Changing the location of the folders, of course, file management. Preparing new files. Providing security for files. This is something up to a security, like a security guard, a virus guard, right? Changing the names of the files, of course, management. So it should be fourth answer. 21. Consider the following statement about the products barcode reader, right? Products of the barcode reader. This will get the name of the product. That is correct. It will give the name of the product. B. This will allow you to get the expiration date of the product. Can. This will allow you to get the location of the item. Like a GPS? No. But like an address? Yes. So out of the statement regarding this, all of the above are also there. Is A and B only are there? Is even A and B only are there? So this allows you to get the location of the item. It actually is not, right? There is something about the GPS sort of thing. No. So C is wrong. The answer should be A and B only. Answer 1, right? It's the answer 1. Right. So come to the 22nd question. Which of the following memories are non-volatile memories? Right. So RAM is basically non-volatile. ROM is not, right? I'm sorry. The ROM is not a non-volatile. Like ROM is a non-volatile memory. RAM is a volatile memory, like which is when you switch off the computer, the memory will be erased if it is volatile. If it is non-volatile, though you switch it off, the memory will be still remaining. So that is ROM. Non-volatile is actually ROM. RAM is volatile. Cache memory is volatile. Register memory is volatile. So which of the following memories are non-volatile memories? That is B only, right? That is B only. B only. Answer 2. Should be answer 2. 23rd. A popular manufacturing company that produces computer processors. There were two, IBM or something, and the other one is Intel. So out of this, Intel is there. Fourth answer. Below is an image of the home ribbon in a Word document. Answer the questions 24 and 25 from it, right? How can I change the font color here? So out of these, C and A are related. Then D is actually, this part is actually used to change the colors. So how can I change the font colors here? It's actually D. Answer 4 should be the answer 4. Which ribbon in the file lab here allows you to add charts? It's actually insert, right? You have to go insert and to add charts. Actually to insert. In an Excel program, the formula that should be written in B2 to increase the value of L2 to 150% is not possible. They are asking the not possible answer, right? So out of these, A2 into 3 over 2, that will increase by 150, right? Because 3 over 2 is 1.5. So A2 value, let's say 100. 3 over 2 will give you 150. So that is correct. A2 plus A2 half, even this will give you 150. This is 100. 100 and half is 50. So it's 150. This is also correct. Right? A2 into 150 over 100. Now this will give you more than 150. 100 into 100 is like 10,000. Divide by 100 is again 100. 100 into 150 is more than 150. So C is wrong. So the answers should be A and B only. A and B only. Answer 4. Among the following services, right? Among the following services, Wikipedia belongs to which service? Wikipedia belongs to, it's not a search engine, not a social network site, not a web browser. It's a website, right? Wikipedia is a website, and it's a service as well. Internet service, but you have nothing to buy there, right? Internet service, but there's nothing to buy there. So basically, it's a website, right? It's a website. When sending an email via Gmail, we'll come to this one, right? Right. Right. Okay. So, right. Come to this one. When sending an email via Gmail, right? The address mentioned in BCC. BCC is basically black, right? Black carbon copy. If it is black carbon copied, the person who was black carbon copied won't be shown to any of the 2 and CC, right? The person who is black carbon copied won't be showed to any of the 2 and CCs. But black carbon copied person actually can see 2 and CC addresses, right? Yeah. So the address mentioned in the BCC section, the address in the 2 and CC sections are shown to the people who belong to it. No, right? The address mentioned in the BCC section, the address in the 2 and CC section are shown to the people who belong to it. It's not right. Address mentioned in the BC section won't be shown to any of the 2 and CC people. Address in the mentioned in the BC section, the address in the 2 and CC section are shown to the people who belong. Are shown to people who belong. All right. The 2 and CC addresses are shown to the person whose address is listed on in the BCC section. Yeah, that is correct. 2 and CC addresses are shown to the person whose address in the BCC. That is correct. The email will be sent to all people whose address are in the BCC 2 and CC sections. Email will be sent to all people who are addressed in BCC 2. Yeah, it will be sent to all. Right? So it's B and C. True statements are B and C, right? 29. Cone is formed by joining the edges OA and OB of a semicircle as shown in the figure, right? And circular segment is attached to the base to form a closed cone, right? The ratio of the surface area to the sector, to the surface area of the cone. So they are asking for they are making a cone out of this, right? They are making a cone out of this, and they are asking the ratio of the surface area of the sector, the ratio of surface area of the sector to the surface area of the cone. So if they made a cone out of it, that will be something like, if you pull this from the center, these two of the edges will be connecting and will make a cone like this. So the arc length will become the circumference of this. If you understand it, if you grab it from the center and grab it out, these two of the edges will be connecting and this arc length will become the circumference, right? So but still the surface area of this and the lateral area of the cone are same, because this surface area will become the lateral area of this, but still the bottom, it says they are fixing a bottom as well, but the bottom area is different, so you have to find the bottom area anyway, right? To find the bottom area, you need the radius of the bottom, right? You will need the radius of the bottom. We need the radius of the bottom. We don't know the radius of the bottom. I'll take it as R1. And the surface area of the sector is pi r square, right? That is all good. If I take the radius as r, the surface area of the sector is half r phi r square, half of the phi r square. Now we have to find the surface area of this. So there's phi r square in the lateral area anyways. Now we have to find the area of the bottom, and you have to add them together, right? So area of the bottom, before finding it, we need to find the radius. So the arc length is phi r, right? Arc length is phi r, and phi r is equal to the circumference of this, right? So it will be phi r equals to 2 phi r1 of this, because I took the radius as r1. So now 5 to 5 cancels. R1 now is equal to r over 2. Now this is the radius here, r over 2, right? So now we have the bottom radius. We have to find the total area of the cone. So it should be phi r square plus phi r over 2 complete square, right? This is the complete total area, phi r square plus phi r over 2 square. That will be phi r square, sorry, this should be phi r square over 2, right? Because it's equal to the sector's area, no? So it's phi r square over 2 plus phi r square over 4. So half and quarter will give you 3/4, right? This is a half, this is a quarter. Half plus quarter will give you 3/4 of phi r square. Now this is the total area of the cone. Now they are asking the area of surface area of sector to the surface area of the cone. Now this is the surface area of the cone. This into this is to this. So phi r square. So this was taken 3/4 phi r square, right? That's the area of the sector. So this is to 3/4 of phi r square, right? Ratio you have to find. So phi r square to phi r square cancels out. 2 to 4 cancels out. So it's 1 is to 3 over 2, or 2 is to 3, right? 1 is to 3 over 2, or if you cross multiplied it, that is 2 is to 3. How is it? This is a division, right? 1 is to 3 over 2, 1 divided by 3 over 2. This is reciprocal. We should come to this way, right? This should be within 3 is to 2, right? Are both answers there? Yeah, right. It should be 3 is to 2 or 2 is to 3. So it's basically 1 divided by 3 over 2. Basically 1 divided by 3 over 2, which is 1 is to 3 over 2. So yeah, it is basically 2 is to 3, 2 is to 3, because you have to, like, this is the ratio. You have to multiply both the sides by 2 to make a new proportion. That will be 2:3. So the answer is 2:3. 2:3 is the answer 4. Right? Answer 4. Need to get the notes. Do it quickly. Right. So come to the next question. 30th question. A picture frame consists of a semicircular part and a rectangular part. Semicircular part and a rectangular part shown in the figure is hung from a peg at point O. Is hung from here by a string attached to point A and D, right? If the length of the string is 40 centimeters, so yeah, 20, right? OH is 54 centimeters, O to H is 54 centimeters, right? And AD equals 24 centimeters. AD is 24 centimeters. Then the length of the wire used to make the frame. This is the frame, right? ADCHBA is the frame. They are asking for the length of the frame, the perimeter. The frame is symmetrical about OH. So the OH divides the total drawing into 2, right? And the phi is equal to 3. Okay. So now you have to find the AB, AD side and the arc length BHC. You can easily find the arc length because if this divides into 2, each becomes 12. So the radius of this the sector is 12. So by using that, you can find the arc length phi r. And now you have to find, now 24 is already here. So you just only have to find CD. So how do you going to find CD? So CD or AB length. The total length is given 54. The radius is this 12. So if you deduct 12 from this, like the length will be from here. I have to find the length from here. If you find the length from here to here, deducting 12 and these both lengths will give you this length, right? So for that, this is 12, this is 20, this is 90 degrees, of course. So you have to put Pythagoras. This is a triplet, right? 10, 6 should be 8, right? 10, 6, 8, right? Because the triplet is 10, 6, 8. This should be 10, this is 6, and this is 8. It's 10, 6, 8, right? 10, 6, 8. Right, so this is 8 basically. No, not 8. You have multiplied by 2, that's 16, right? 16. Because 12, 20, it should be 16. 2 times 8. Yeah. So this is 16. This side is 16. This is 12. So you have to deduct 28 out of 54, right? So it's 54 minus 28, right? 16 plus 12, 18, 28 is this length, CD length, plus 24, right? So these times 2 are there, right? These times 2 are there. 2 times 54 minus 28. CD and AB both the sides are there, no? But only 124 side, plus phi r here, plus phi r. Phi is 22/7, radius is 12. No, phi is has to take as 3. So it's 3. Basically 5 is 3. So you have to multiply this one now. 54 minus 28 key the quickly tell someone is 2, 22, 26, 52. 26 times 2 is 52 plus 24 plus 36. 40, 60, 112. Answer 3. Answer 3, right? Answer 3. Hope you understood it. Few of the tips are there. අනස්සතරෙන් අඩු කරන්න ඕනේ රේඩියස් එක. ඔව් පුතේ හරි. මේකත් අඩු ගන්න ඕනේ මේකත් අඩු ගන්න ඕනේ. 16 එක. අඩු කරන් පස්සේ එනවා. Right? Make it quickly. Right, so come to the next question. 31. The ratio of the height of a pyramid with a square base to the length of one side of the base is 2:3. The ratio of the total surface area to the area of the base is. Right, shall we draw it? I'll draw it here. It's basically asking. There's a pyramid. Like this with a square base, right? There's a pyramid with a square base, right? Something like this. Pyramid with a square base, and it says the ratio of the height of the pyramid with a square base to the length of the side of the base is 2:3. So if one is 2, the other one is 3, right? So height to the length, right, is 2:3. So if I take the height as this is the height and this is the length, that is 2:3. So if this is 2, this is 3. That's what they say, right? If this is 2, this is 3, right? The ratio of the total surface area to the area of the base. So the area of the base is basically 9, right? 9. 3 into 3 square is 9. Area of the base is actually 9. Sorry, 3 square. Which is 9. So you have to find the total area, right? You have to find the total area. How do you find the total area? So you have to find the area of each of the triangles. So if you find the area of one of the triangles and multiply it by 4, you will get the total area. So for that you need the slant height, because that will become the perpendicular height of the triangle. So to find the slant height, you'll have to draw this triangle here. So now if this is 3, right, this will become 3/2, and this will become 2, and the hypotenuse will become the slant height. So I'm going to find the slant height. I'll take it as h. So now h square is equal 2 square plus 3/2 square. That will be 4 plus 9/4. That will be 4 times 4 is 16. 16 plus 9 is 25, right? That will be h square equals 25 divided by 4. So h is equal to 5/2, because the root of it, 25 root will be 5, 4 root will be 2. So h is basically 5/2 or 2.5. 5/2. Now you have to find the area of one of the triangles, right? I'm going to do it here in a different color. You have to find the area of one of a triangle. That will be half into base 3 into perpendicular height, which is 5/2. This is basically the area of one triangle. This into 4 will give you the area of 3 of the triangle, which is the lateral area, plus you have to add the base area, which is 9. So this is the total area of the pyramid is to the area of the bottom. Are they asking in that way or the other way? The ratio of the total surface area to the base. This is the total area to the base is 9. Na? So I'm going to simplify this one. 2 into 2 is 4. 4 to 4 cancels out. 3 into 5 is 15. 15 plus 9 is 24. 24 is to 9. If you divide both by both divides by what? 24 divides by 3, 8. 8 is to 3. If you divide this by 3, 8 divided by 3, 3. 8 is to 3. Yeah. Answer is 5. Right. Take a quick note. Right. Right. So come to the next one. 36. If water flows out of a conical tank filled with water with a radius of 80 centimeters and a height of 4 meters through a hole at the bottom at a speed of 10 liters per second, the time taken to empty to half its height will be. Okay, let's say this is the conical flask. Does it say a conical flask? No, right? It's a conical tank. So this is cone shaped tank anyways. This is the cone shaped tank and radius is 80 centimeters, right? Radius is 80 centimeters. So this is 80 centimeters and the height is 8 centimeters and the height of 4 meters. Height is 4 meters, right? This is 4 meters. I hope you can see. This is 4 meters, right? And there's a hole in the bottom and it leaks water. It leaks water in a rate of 10 liters per second, right? 10 liters per second. The time taken for it to empty to half its height, which means up to this level. Half empty is up to this level. That is up to 2 meters of a height, right? Because the total height is 4, up to 2 meters of height will be, right? So you have to find the volume of this part, right? If you know the volume of this part, you know how much of liters have left, right? If you know the volume of this part, you know how much of a volume is left there. Now how do you find the volume of that? You need the what you put is 1/3 of 5r square h. So you need r for that. So this is midpoint theory, right? Because half means half the height goes through the midpoints. So if this is 80, this should be 40 as per the midpoint theory. Now you can easily put 1/3 of 5r square h. 5r is now 40, but should convert into meters. So I'm going to divide it by 100. That is 10 to the power minus 2. 5r, this is r in meters square. H is now 2 meters. And this is the volume of the empty part. This much of a volume is emptied now. And you should find the time taken for that. You should find the volume of this one first, because the volume here, the leaking volume, rate of leaking is given in liters. This will be in cubic meters. So let's find the value of this. We'll go into a approximate value. Have they asked like 5 equals 3? So they are asked to take the 5 as 3. So 5 to 5, 3 to 3 cancels out. So now this will be minus 1 here. 4 square is 16. 16. This will be again 10 to the power minus 2. So 16 into 2 is also there. So that will be 32. Right? That will be 32. This will be 16. This will be 10 to the power minus 2. 16 into 2 is 32. What did I do? Okay. Yeah. This will be 16. 16 into 2 will be 32. And this will be 10 to the power minus 1 squared 2 is 10 to the power minus 2. This is the volume in cubic meters. So 1 cubic meter is 1000 liters. So this in liters will be, this should multiply by 1000. That will be 320 liters. Right. So per second 10 liters are emptied, which means to empty 320 liters, you have to divide this. That will be 32 seconds. Right. If 10 liters per second, to empty 32 liters, it will take 32 seconds. Answer is 1. Answer should be 1. Answer should be 1. Hope you understood it. Are in Is it clear? It's clear, right? ये पेपर का होंदा इटिक आखोंदे කියන්නේ ගන්න තියෙන දේවල් ගොඩක් තියෙනවා ඒකේ. Right. Right. So come to this one. This one. Question 33 and 34 are based on the following figure showing the plan of a pond in a garden. Right, in a garden. The pond is a concentric segment with AOD equals BOD equals AOD, AOD equals BOD equals 504. So this is basically 504 in radians, right? So it's a concentric segment, which is a sector basically. If the depth of the pond is 2 meters, right? It says depth is 2 meters. I'm gonna draw a depth, something like this. This is basically the depth. This is basically the depth. This is 2 meters of a depth, right? The depth is 2 meters and AB equals 8 root 2 AB. So 8 root 2, 4 root 2, 4 root 2, that's labeled already. Its capacity is, you mean the volume, right? So the 5 isn't simplified. So you have to take the area of this part, and this area continues downwards, which means cross-sectional area into the height will give you the volume. Right? Cross-sectional area of the sector into the height will give you the volume. You have to find the cross-sectional area. That will be basically either theta over 365 r square or half r square theta. I think half r square theta is easy, but you have to find the radius. You have to find the AB radius. With that, we can use this easily. Right? This is 5 over 4. 5 is 180. Divided by 4 is 45 degrees. This is basically 45 degrees. And how much is this length? You don't need that length. Opposite, you need to find this one. Opposite and adjacent. Yeah. Sorry, opposite over the hypotenuse. That is sine, right? Yeah, opposite over the hypotenuse is sine. So take sine 45 value. This is 45. Sine 45 is equal to opposite, which is 4 over root 2 over the hypotenuse, which is OB, right? So sine 45 is 1 over root 2, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, right? Isn't it? It is. 4 root 2 over hypotenuse, I'll take it as OB here. So when you cross multiply it, OB is equal to root 2 into 2. Root 2 is 2. 4 into 2 is 8. So this is 8. Right. This height is 8. It's 8 meters. OB is 8. Right. OB is 8. Now what can we do? OB is 8. We have the radius. We have the angle. 5 over 4 plus 5 over 4 is 5 over 2. So we can put half r square theta. They are asking for the volume, right? So we'll put a straight formula. Half r square, which is 8 square, theta 5 over 2, isn't it? 5 over 4 plus 5 over 4. Quarter plus quarter is half. Radius is 8. That is the cross sectional area. Now this into the area of the sector, the depth is 2. It will give you the volume. So let's simplify this, right? 1 over 2 to 2 cancels out. Have they asked like take 5 as 3? No, they haven't simplified the 5, so let's keep the 5. So 8 square is 64. 64 divided by 2 is 32. 32.5. Right? Volume is 32.5 cubic meters. Answer is 2. Right? Answer is 2. Easy. That part was easy. Right. Right, so come to the next one. The angle of elevation at which 1.5 tall child standing at vertex O. There's a child standing at this point. Different color here. Child standing at this point. He's 1.5 meters tall, right? So this is 1.5 meters tall child, right? And standing at vertex O, sees the top of a pole placed at vertex D. He sees the top of a pole at vertex D here, right? Is 5 over 4. The angle is 5 over 4. Tall 1.5 meter tall child standing at a vertex O sees the top of a pole placed at vertex D is 5 over 4. The height of the pole. So he sees the top of a pole, right? So it should be an ascending angle. So the ascending angle is given as 5 over 4, which is basically 45 degrees, right? 5 divided by 2 is 90. 90 divided by 2 is again 45. So this is 45 degrees of an angle. Yeah. The height of the pole. So this is 1.5. You have to measure the height, this part, and you have to add 1.5. That's all. That's easy. So 45 means you have to have like one of the sides here, right? So you have to know this side length. I hope you like see it clearly. You have to take this height from here to here. The length from O to D we supposed to know. So O to D is actually a radius, isn't it? Because this is a sector, this is a radius. So the radius is 8, so this is 8 as well, right? So this length is 8 as well, 8 meters. I hope this is clear, right? It's 8. Yeah. So this is 8 as well. So this is 45. I hope you remember, if it is 45, two of the sides are equal. 1:1, because tan 45 is 1. If this is 8, this is 8. So because this is a MC, this is an MC, like this is a MCQ. Just take the short ways, like that is why you practice to do the questions, right? tan 45 is 1 is to 1, like it's 1, tan 45 is basically 1, which means opposite and adjacent are same. So if this is 8, this is 8 as well. So the complete length is 9.5 meters, right? 9.5 meters. What the hell is this? Did we have to take any of the roads or something? Isn't this 8? It should be 8, right? Because to the circumference from the center is radius. And this angle is 5 over 4. 5 over 4 is 5 over 4. Five over 4. 5 is 180. Divided by 4 is 45, right? Correct. That's 40. What are we lacking here now? Opposite over the adjacent, it's 8. The height of the child is 1.5, so it should be 9.5. So like if you simplified this, answer should be 9.5. That's the best way of taking it. I don't know how the formulas are there. Any answers for the 34th question? Geeshan, Sanija? You found the answer for the 34th question in a different way? Both are correct. What do you mean, like do all the answers give the same value? All are correct. Is it? They can't be, right? 8 root 3 and 16 root 3 of course are obviously different two answers. So can't be all are correct. Make it simplify කරාම පස්සේ බලන්න 9.5 වෙන එක තමයි ගන්න. 8 root 3 maybe නේ. 8 root 3 බලන්න කීය දෙන්නේ කියලා. ටක් ගාලා ගහලා බලන්න 8 root 3. ඒක තමයි එන්න ඕන නේ. 8 root 3 9.5 වගේ නැත් ඒක. 13.8. ළඟම ආන්සර් එක මොකද්ද තියෙන්නේ 9.5 ට? එතකොට සෙකන්ඩ් එක වෙන්න බෑනේ. එතකොට ඒක 8 root 3 plus 1 වෙනවනේ සෙකන්ඩ් එක. එතකොට 14.8 වෙනවා. තර්ඩ් එක 14 root 3 plus 3 ඒක වෙන්නත් බෑ නේ. ඒක වෙන්නත් බෑ. ඊළඟ එක ඊළඟ එක මොකද්ද? 16 root 3 ඊටත් වඩා වැඩිනේ. ඒක වෙන්නත් බෑ. 2 times කියන්නේ 16 root 3 minus 1 ඒක වෙන්නත් බෑනේ. We have an issue. What do you do? Take it to the end. Maybe so the answer we got was 9.1, 9.5, right? Make it the end, make all gum, right? Make all gum. 9.5 anyways. Right, 35. If the coordinates of the vertices of trapezium OABC in the Cartesian plane are 0, 0, 8, 16, 6, 17 and C 1, 7, right? Then its area is, they're asking for the area of it. So to find the area of trapezium, you need to have the length of the additional, like the parallel sides and the perpendicular height, right? So length of the CB can be taken easily. You have to take the perpendicular height. So how do you take the perpendicular height of this one? Is the question. So this is basically the origin. So if you draw the graph here, this goes the y-axis, right? This is the y-axis. and this goes the x-axis. Right. So you need to find the perpendicular height here. Could be from here to this is x-axis, this is y-axis. Yeah. This y. So now you need a perpendicular height. Is basically this one. How are you going to find that one? One of the coordinate is here. Y coordinate is 7. You have to find this coordinate here, x coordinate. You have to find this coordinate here at this point. If you know the height here, this part, 0 to this height, right? You know the height from 0 to this height. If you know the small height, right? You know this small height from here to here. Now this height, you deduct it from 7, right? That will be the perpendicular height, isn't it? Yes. So how do you find this height? So if you draw the dotted line to the x-axis, now this is 1. This length is 1, right? Because it's 1 is to 7. This is 1 and this total height is 7. This is 1, this is 7. You need to find this height. If you take this triangle, right, and find this height and reduce it from the 7, you get the height, perpendicular height, right? How are you going to find this height? If you know this angle here, theta, you know this angle here, theta, you know the length here is 1, you can easily find this value by applying tan theta. Let's see what angle that is. Now this can be elongated up to this point. A point is 8 at x, this is 8, and 16 at y, which is this point. So it's basically this height is 16, this length is 8, the total length. So the angle tan theta will be of this one will be 16 over 8. That will be tan theta is equal to 2, right? This is a bit of a difficult one. So like if you got this question the first time and you couldn't answer it in a short period of time, don't waste much of time, right? Because if it takes a long time to like simplify it, that will drain your energy as well. Don't do it at once, skip it. My best advice is like skip it, then go for another easy question, finish it. Once you finish it, you come back to the question when you have time, when you have saved enough time to answer this, drain more energy to this, and you come back. Because in a paper, what you're supposed to do actually is to collect the maximum amount of marks that is possible. Be brainful when you answer sort of questions. You don't have to answer the hard questions. You don't have to do that. What you actually have to do is to collect the highest number of marks that is possible, and if you have enough time, go to the hard questions. My advice, right? So this is tan theta. Here is 2. If tan theta is 2, this is 1. You can find this height, right? So if I apply tan theta to this one, that will be tan theta equals, opposite is this height, I'll take it as x, over adjacent is 1. This height is 1 because this point was there in 1. So tan theta is 2. Tan theta is 2. So x equals 2. So this height is 2. The total height is 7. The height, perpendicular height, should be 5. So now we have the perpendicular height and lengths of CB and what is this? OA can be easily found. Difference of two of the x coordinates to the square and the square root. So x minus 6 minus 1 is 5. 5 root plus 17 minus 7 is 10. 10 square and the complete root of it. This is CB, right? This is CB length. And this one, 8 minus 0, 16 minus 0. So 8, that is OA, two parallel sides. That is 8 square plus 16 square and the square root. Min मेरे की values देख क्या अंतर आगा? CB length क्या है? अनिज Geeshan वेदे की values देख क्या अंतर? CB length का है, OA length का है? आगा क्या? OA 8 root 5. OA 8 root 5. Adike 17.88 in එකමද? ඕනේ. මේකත් කිය CB එක. Yeah, 11.1. So the values are given in decimals. It's about 17.8, 11.1, right? So half 17.8, 11.1. 17.8 plus 11.1 into perpendicular height 5. मैंने make किया ना खुद ये देखिए area 18 ගන්නකො 18 plus 11 එතකොට 18 plus 11 කියන්නේ 29 නේ 18 plus 11 29 29 into 5 කියලා කියන්නේ 290 divide by කීයද පුතේ 290 divided by 5 කියන්නේ that's 14.5 ද yeah so 145 divided by 2 70 ගානක් එන්නේ 84 වගේ දෙන්න 59 ද 54 තියෙන්නේ නේ 54 एक गम थी अप्रोक्सीमेट आंसर 3 एक बड़ा बनाना हमारी सिंप्लीफिकेशन में हमारी 3 पुलो दैट्स द अप्रोक्सीमेट आंसर राइट ओके 36 a cricket batsman hits a ball with his bat of course right the ball then travels in a parabolic path in a vertical plane as shown in the figure so the parabolic path of the ball is shown in the figure the coordinates of the point where the ball hits the bat are A. So here the bat hits the ball. That is -1, -2. And the coordinates of the upper point are B. That is 2 is to 7, 2 and 7. If the path is symmetrical, this path is symmetrical. Above the vertical line passing through point B, then the equation of the path is given by. So there's no any direct way of finding the equation, right? Just have to check the factors. So one is like this is a maximum. So if it is a maximum, x should be a minus value, x square should be a minus value. There's only one answer, the minus value. So it's directly 4. It's easy, right? You don't have to go into the formulas or anything. It's easy. It's directly given this one. Or else the best other thing is you put like one of a coordinate value. So you check if the relevant y coordinate value is given. Let's check this one. If you put 2 into the equation, simplifying it should be given 7 as y, right? So I'm applying 2. If I apply 2, now the 2 is separate. Minus is like this x square is minus, so we have to square the 2 separately. 2 square is 4, so it's -4. So it's -4. Then again 4 into x. X is 2, that is 8 plus 3. So at 8 plus 3 is, there's no minus here. 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 minus 4 is 7. Yeah. So of course, y is 7. That is correct. The answer is 4. Easy. Right. Question 37. That is how you find it. That is how you find the formula. One is you apply the coordinate values. So if you apply the x coordinate value, the relevant y coordinate value should be given. And you check if it is a maximum or a minimum by the formula. Or otherwise, the formula of the symmetrical axis, which is minus b over 2a. X equals minus b over 2a. So you apply to this one and check if the x is given. Minus b over 2a එක දාලා බලනවා x වල coordinate එක 2 වෙනවද කියලා. Sort of things you can do, but there's no any direct way of taking the whole formula at once. This is how we do it. Question 37 and 38 are based on the frequency table given below. This table shows the annual balance of 40 institutions. Okay, right, annual balance of 40 institutions are given there. So 71.4. Answer හරිද අරගේ 71.4 it named 71.4 කන්නේ 71.5 කන්නේ 4 ඒක 33 ඉන්නේ 40 අනේ ඒක නෙමෙයි ඒකද මේක නේ ආවේ නම ඔයක 33 පුතේ 71.5 එක ගන්නෑ නේ මේක ඒක දෙන්න ඒ වගේව තියෙන එක තමයි හොඳ. ඒක බෑ අපෝ try කරන්න අපිට වෙලා තියෙන හින්දා නම් පොඩ්ඩක් try කරලා කමන්නේ. මං හිතන්නේ my mistake. right? See above there, right? Come to this one. The lower boundary and class width of the second class region are correctly indicated by the lower boundary and class width, right? So you have to take the difference of the boundaries, take the class width, remember that, not the class limits, but the boundaries. You have to take the boundaries to take the class width. So what are the class boundaries here now? Add these two together, divide by 2. Minus 6 plus minus 5 is minus 11. Divide by 2 is minus 5.5. Now there is 1. Now because these are minus values, it's not like the positive values. If this is a positive value, if this is 5.5, this should be 10.5, right? Because 5 has increased. Sorry, this should be 9.5. You get it? If this is 5.5, yeah. If this is 5.5, yeah, another 5.5 should be deducted from this one to have the same gap. But because this is a minus value, greater the minus value, lower the actual value, right? Greater the minus value, lower the actual value. So instead of taking 9.5 in this case, we should take minus 10.5, because minus 10.5 is lower than 10, because that's what we do. So it should be 10.5 actually. So this is 10.5. This is 10.5 minus 10.5. This is minus 5.5. So those are the boundaries, right? They are asking the lower boundary and the class width. Of the second one, the lower boundary and the class width of the second class. Okay, that is 5.5. Okay, minus 5.5. Lower boundary and the class width of the second class. Okay, so now if this is 5.5, now 5.5 has increased. Now this should be 0.5 should be deducted from it, which is 1.5, right? 5.5. Yeah. This should be minus 1.5, right? So minus 1.5 minus 5.5 is how much? Plus, this is minus 5.5. So it becomes plus, it becomes 4. Then the answer 4. No, answer 4. No, this can't be 1.5, because increasing the value should be decreasing in minuses, right? Increasing the value should be decreasing in the minuses. So because of that, shall we take this one? With එක ගන්න එකම විදියනේ. දැන් පළවෙනි එක මේක -5.5 අවුලක් නැහැ කියලා with එක මේකින් ගමු. This should be 0.5. හරි. In actual value should be 0.5. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි මේකේ value එක වැඩි කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ අඩු කරන්න ඕන ඇත්තටම. එතකොට -1 වලට වඩා -0.5 වැඩිනේ. ඉතින් මේක -1.5 වුණොත් හරියන්නේ නැහැ. It should be -0.5. ඕන මේකෙන් ගමුකෝ. So add these two together, plus values 9 divide by 2 is 9 is 4.5, right? So this is 4.5, therefore this is 4.5 as well. Therefore this becomes 9.5. අපි 9.5 වැඩි කරනවානේ. දැන් මෙතන 0.5 මාගේ වැඩි වෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ 0.5 වෙන්නේ. So the difference should be 0.5 minus 5.5. right? එතකොට එන්නේ මෙතන එනවා plus 5.5 minus 0.5. that becomes 5. මේක මෙතනින් ගත්තා නම් අපිට ෂුවර් මොකද ප්ලස් වැලියුස් වල අපි දන්නවනේ 9.5 minus 4.5 can it's 5 නේ. So yeah, the width is 5 and the upper class value is minus 5.5. Minus 5.5 and 5. Understood it? එහෙම තමයි ගන්න වෙන්නේ. මෙතනින් ෂුවර් නැති ඉඳලා මේ ප්ලස් වැලියුස් වලින් ගත්තා මම. So in this case, you have to like add the 0.5 here. When you're adding a 0.5 here, is actually less than 1. Becomes like 0.5. Understood it? නේද ඒක? මේ වගේ මයිනස් වැලියුස් වලින් එන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතර චුට්ටක් හිතන්න කියන්නේ දැන් මේ දෙක ඇඩ් කරලා මේක ගන්න එක හරි. මේක 0.5 අඩු වෙලානේ. ඒතර ඔයා මේකට දාන්න ඕන 10.5. හරිද? මේකෙන් වැඩි කරන්න ඕන. නෑ මේකෙන් අඩු කරන්න ඕන. මේක බලන්න 4.5 නේ අපි ගත්තේ. so මෙයා 4.5 වෙනකොට මෙයාගෙන් අඩු වෙලානේ. එතකොට මෙයාගෙනුත් අඩු වෙන්න ඕන. මෙයාගෙන් අඩු වෙනවා කියන්නේ මෙයා 10.5 වෙනවා. මෙයාගෙන් අඩු වෙනවා කියන්නේ මෙයාට වඩා අඩු එක්කෙනා තමයි 10.5. 9.5 කියන්නේ වැඩි එක්කෙනා. මෙයාගේ 10.5 වෙනවා. මෙයාගේ 5.5 වෙනවා. මෙයා 5.5 වෙලා මෙයාගේ 0.5 වැඩි වෙන්න බෑ. ඒ කියන්නේ 0 -0.5 වෙන්නේ. ඒක අනිත් පැත්තට වෙන්නේ නැති. අපි අර පොසිටිව් වැලියුස් වල යන විදිහට නෙමෙයි ඉන්නේ. අනිත් පැත්තට වෙන්නේ. හරි. ඒක චුට්ටක් ඔබ්සර්ව් කරන්න හරියට. කියන්නේ පොසිටිව් වැලියුස් වලට කරන එකේ අනිත් පැත්ත තමයි මේකට කරන්න ඕන. Right. Upper limit of the class to which the median belongs. Upper limit of the class to which the median belongs. So median should belong to Q2. Q2, how do you take? You add all the frequencies and take the half value of it. Now, if you add these together, 9, 16 4 is 20, 30, 40. So half is 20. Q2 is half 20. That is 9, 19. Comes to the 16. 20 I think 16 alter. So एक upper class एक 9. The upper limit of the class to which upper limit एक वेने 9. हरे ने Q2 के अन्य 50 ने तो frequency किंग 50 इधर 50 plus 1 में नोनी एक अन्य Q2 के अन्य half n plus 1 ने so it's half n is 40 plus 1 is 41 so it's 20.15 ne? It's basically the 20th digit comes to the 16 so it's 20.5 is also there inside it because there are 16 numbers moving ahead which means like the class of course is this one and the upper limit is 9 so answer is 3 yes right 39 PQ and QR are two light chains. They support a load of 150 kilograms as shown in the figure. The tension in the strands PQ and QR can be right. Tension in the PQ and QR. Tension in the PQ and QR. I'll take this as T1, this as T2. So we have done sort of like question in the workbook. Workbook එක මේකම තියෙනවා. values වෙනස් ඇති. හැබැයි මේ වගේ එකක් තියෙනවා මතක නැහැ. මේ වගේ දෙකක් තිබ්බා. 1500 newtons in a method. So if it is under the equilibrium, the T2 doesn't have any of effect in a perpendicular direction. There are no vectors in perpendicular directions. So T2 doesn't affect any of the T1 or the vertical axis. So T1 sin 60, right, should be equal to 1500 newtons. That's easy. T1 sin 60 should be equal to 1500 newtons, right? T1 sin 60 is root 3 over 2 equals 1500 newtons. If you cross multiply this, that will be 3000 over root 3. Now tell me the value of this. 3000 over root 3. Taggal kya pata? Geeshan Sanaj. 3000 over root 3. Right, so that's 1732. මේකල මුලින් අහන්නේ මොකද්ද? PQ නේ. අපි T1 කියලා ගත්තේ මොකද්ද? QR. QR කියන්නේ 7 එක 1732 අපිට නේ 30 නේ 30 ගමුකෝ. එතකොට මේකත් හරි මේකත් හරි. answers තුනක් තියෙනවා මේ දෙන්න වැරදි. හරිනේ. We have to find T1 now. We found T1, we have to find T2 now. So basically T2 is equal to T1 cos 60, isn't it? It's a half of it. T1 cos 60 is equal to T2 because only two forces in the horizontal axis is T1 cos 60, the component of T1, the vector of T1 and the T2. So T1 cos 60 should be equal to T2. So cos 60 is basically half, right? So මෙයාගේ half බලන්න. මේ ගත්ත එක්කෙනාගේ half 1730 වල half කීයද? 1700 කියන්නේ 900 වුණොත් 18 වෙනවනේ. ඒතර 700 something. 800 something නේ. 800 කීයද? මේ වගේ ඇති. 865. Yeah. So answer is 3. Answer is 3. ඒක තේරුණා නේද? So we are concerned about the equilibrium of the forces. So if we consider the vertical equilibrium T1 sin 60 should equal to 1500 the weight, and once we found the T1 using that vertical equilibrium, we found the horizontal equilibrium as T1 cos 60 should equal to T2. That was easy, right? As shown in the figure below, where water has risen to level B. Water has risen to level B in a thin tube immersed in water. When a flow of air is maintained through horizontal tube, right? So making air so what happens? Water moves upward through the thin tube. Yeah. Make a Bernoulli. So when the when an airflow goes through this, the velocity will be reduced. Velocity will be increased. Pressure will be reduced, and the atmospheric pressure will be more than this pressure here because the pressure is dropped here. Therefore, the water level will be rising up, and the water will mix up with the airflow in the spray gun. So water moves upward through the thin tube is correct. They're asking for the correct statement. So the first one is correct. Water flows down the thin tube? No, it goes up. There is no change in the water level in the thin tube? No, wrong. Air comes out of A and air bubbles form. Why? No. If the air comes out like it, the air should go downwards. No. Level B reaches the water level in the jar. No, that will be like dropping the water, right? No. The answer is 1. Bimetallic strip is made by fusing two strips of copper and iron, right? It is fixed vertically at room temperature with the lower end fixed so that the copper strip is on the left. They are fixed vertically. Copper strip is on the left. This is copper, and the iron strip is right. So this is basically iron. Iron strip is on the right. As the temperature is increased, alpha copper is greater than alpha iron. Okay. So the expansion rate of copper is greater than the expansion rate of iron. What it is asking? As the temperature is increased, where does it bend? So it's basically the high high expansive metal always lies in the outer circumference, and low expansion value metal lies in the inner circumference. So if this is high, this should be the outer circumference and this should be the inner circumference. It bends to the right. And this is high expansion එක තියෙන එක්කෙනා outer circumference වෙනවා අනිත් එක inner. දැන් මෙයාගේ වුණා නම් මෙයා outer circumference වෙනවා මෙයා inner වෙන්න ඕන. It bends to the right. Understood? Those are easy. Not really hard. But the questions are really good. Me up to this level expect කරන්න පුළුවන් අපිට මේක හොඳ level එකක්. මේකට questions එනවා නම් හොඳයි. මොකද there's like nothing to throw away. Every question is like really close and sort of is confusing to find the answers. Like the memes say, like you have to select one of the 5 and 5 are really alike. You don't know what to select. It's a good paper, of course. Like I think this one deserves that. Yeah, this is a good one. Anyways, but still doable. That's the other thing. That's a good standard paper, you know. Still doable. 42. A pipe through which water flows is subjected to narrowing due to a crash. There's a narrowing due to the crash. In the case of a fluid flowing at the narrow point, speed and pressure decreases. What happens here? Because of the narrowing, the velocity will go up, pressure will go down. That's as per the Bernoulli, right? Speed and pressure decreases, no. Speed and pressure both increases, no. Speed increase, pressure decreases. Answer 3. Right? Answer 3. Because when the area is narrowing, velocity increasing. If the velocity is increasing, pressure is dropping. That is for the Bernoulli. 43. A light bow with a bow constant of 10 Newton per meter is released by pushing a ball of mass 100 grams to 10 centimeters. So there's a spring, let's say. There's a ball here pressed up to 10 centimeters with the ball, right? Yeah, 10 centimeters. The maximum initial velocity of the ball it can attain. So it's the conservation of energy, isn't it? The what do you call elastic potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. They have to equal those two. So elastic potential energy is half Fv, but the bow constant is given, so it should be half Ke square, right? Half Ke square is also elastic potential energy. If you can remember the formula, there were two formulas, half Fe and half Ke square. K is bow constant, E is the extension. Should equal to half mv square, mass the grams in given, and find the velocity. So apply the values to this and it's easy. Half K is what? 10. E is 10 centimeters. You have to apply it in meters. So 10 into 10 to the power minus 2 and its square equals half, mass is 100 grams, 100 divided by 1000, no, yeah, gram divided by 1000, no. So 100 divided by 1000 is 1 over 10 or 10 to the power minus 1, right, into v square. And this is also like 10 to the power minus 1 square because 1 over 10 cancels out. Anything to cancel out here? Half to half can be directly cancelled out. Here this is 10 to the power minus 1 inside, but 2 of the 10 to the power minus 1s are there. 1 of a 10 to the power minus 1 and 1 of the 10 to the power minus 1 be cancelled out. But still the 10 to the power minus 1 is remaining there. So you divide this by 10, this becomes 10 to the power minus 2. So 10 to the power minus 2 to 10 to the power minus 2 cancels out. So there is only 1 remaining. So v square equals 1. So v is also 1. Right? V is also 1. The answer is 2. 1 ms minus 1. Right? 1 ms minus 1. 44. An object moves along a straight line for a distance of 10 meters under the force of 5 newtons acting on it. If the work done is 25 joules, find the value of theta. Basically, the work should be done in the direction of the force, the displacement, and the force should be in the same direction. Therefore, like 5 cos theta is the force into displacement is 10 meters, should be equal to the work done. This is force in the direction of the displacement, 5 cos theta. The displacement is 10, 5 cos theta into 10 should equal to the work done, that is 25 joules. That is 25. So now 5 times 1, 5 times 5. So cos theta equals, cos theta should equal to 5 over 10. So 5 times 1, 5 times 2. So that is 1 over 2. So cos theta is half when it is 60 degrees. Cos theta half in 60 degrees and cos 60 is half. So answer is 4. Understood it? That's easy. Picture amount, right? Right. 45. How long did it? අපි පටන් ගත්තේ 4:45 වගේ නේද? 4:45. අපිට අවුලන්නේ ඩිස්කෂන් එකට පැය දෙකකට කිට්ටු වෙනවා. Right, 45. There is a water tank 6 meters high in a building with a capacity of 3 cubic meters. The efficiency of the water pump used to fill this tank is 30%. Right? The efficiency is power output over power input into the 100%. It took 10 minutes. What is the power of the electricity used for this? So a motor is used to like pump water up to the up to a tank in 6 meters of a height. I'll draw something like this. There's a tank in 6 meters of a height, and that's 3 cubic meters, and a motor is pumping the water to here, right? And the output of energy should be mgh over time, right? Because those are the only values that are given. The values are given only to take mgh, so we'll take it in mgh wise, right? So if it is mgh, now mass isn't given, but the density of water is 1000, and 1 liter is 1 kilogram basically. So we have to convert this back first into, or like, let's say the density equals mass over volume, and it's 1000 and the volume is 3, so the mass is 3000 kilograms, right? Have you understood? Density is 1000, volume is 3 into 1000 is 3000 kilograms, so the mass is 3000 kilograms. If we apply the potential energy EP equals mgh, now the mass is 3000, api density king ek gatte, gravitational acceleration is 10 and the height is 6. That will be 6 into 3 is 18. 18 into 10 to the power 4 joules, right? 4 joules. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the time is given as 10 minutes. So to take the power out, make any power out, this is the actual work done. So the motor is supplied with the electricity and the work done is this, right? So this is done in 10 minutes. So the power should be this divided by the time, and time should be in seconds. So if I divide this, if I convert this into seconds, that will be 16 to 10, that is 600, right? And this will be the power output. Now if you divide this by time, that is power. Now this is work, this is the power. 2 of the zeros can be cancelled out. 6 times 1, 6 times 3. So there's 2 of the zeros here, which means 300, right? So the power out is actually 300 watts. Hope you understood it. So this is the work output, right? 3000 into 10 into 6 mgh, basically the work output, right? And this was done in 10 minutes, which is 600 seconds. and dividing it by the time, the work divided by time gives you the power, which is the power output. The work done by the motor is the power output. So it's 300 watts. And they're asking the electricity, right? Electricity in the sense the power input, right? Electricity in the sense is the power input. So if you, this is the power output and the efficiency is given how much? 30%. Efficiency is 30%. So power out, you know, efficiency is P out divided by P in into 100%, right? Into 100%. We found the efficiency as 30% and P out is 300 watts. You have to find the P in, which is the current supplied. This is 100%. So 100% to 100% cancels out. 0 to 0 cancels out. 3 to 3 cancels out. That is 10. So P in is 10 into 100, which is 1000. It's 1000 watts. 1 kilowatt is the power in. Right? P in again 1000. P in is 1000. හරි නේද? Understood it? මම එතනම හැදුවා කමක් නැහැ. Understood it? ඒක simplify කරපු පිළිවෙල අවුල්ද? Is it confusing? Yeah, clear. Geeshan අවුල නැහැ. Then let's go to the next one. Water flows through a horizontal pipe whose cross-sectional area decreases from 2 square centimeters to 1 square centimeter under a pressure of difference at a velocity of 2 meters per second. Okay. Hold on. Water flows through a horizontal pipe whose cross-sectional area decreases from 2 to 1 under a pressure difference at a velocity of 2 meters per second. The starting velocity is 2 meters per second. The pressure difference between the two pipes in pascals. Density of water is 10. It should be 1000, right? This should be 1000 kilogram per cubic meter. It's wrong. It's not 10. So this is what this basically is telling. So there's a water pipe here. Cross-sectional area is 2 and is decreased to 1. The cross-sectional area here is 2 square centimeters and here is 1 square centimeter, and water is flowing through this, right? And the initial velocity is 2 meters per second, right? And they are asking the pressure difference. So if you have to find the pressure difference, and it's a dynamic fluid, which is like a flowing fluid, there are two of the equations you can apply if it is flowing or if it is dynamic. The two of the equations you can use is, one is continuity equation, A1 V1 equals A2 V2. The other one is Bernoulli. So to find the pressure, you definitely will have to use Bernoulli's, right? You definitely will have to use Bernoulli's. So let's use Bernoulli here. So to find Bernoulli, I'll take the pressure here as P1, right? Pressure here is P1, pressure here is P2. They're asking for the pressure difference, right? And we put Bernoulli to the streamline, this streamline, P1 plus half rho is 1000, the water, V is 2, half rho V square, V is 2 square. You don't have to apply H rho G because it's in the same height, right? In the same height. So the H rho G will anyways cancel out. It will be equal to P2 plus half rho is 1000, and we don't know the V here. So you have to find V. before applying it. We had to find V. How do you find V? We can find A1 V1 equals A2 V2, right? A1 is 2 square centimeters, V1 is 2 ms minus 1, right? And A2 is 1 square centimeter. We have to find V2. I applied in the centimeters because they will cancel out, so you don't have to worry about the units. So this is 2 into 2 is 4. So V2 is 4 ms minus 1. So you can apply the value here as 4 square. So you have to find the pressure difference. That will be P1 minus P2 because the pressure here is high, pressure here is low. So P1 minus P2 should equal to half 1000 into 4 square minus half 1000 into 2 square, right? 2 square. This should be the formula. If you simplify this, 4 square is 16, 16 divided by 2 is 8. This will be 2 square 4, 2 divided by 2, 4 divided by 2 is 2. That will be, this is 8000 minus this is 2000, and the final value will be 6000 pascals, right? The pressure difference is 6000 pascals. And the answer is is 60. Answer. මේක අවුලක් වුණාද නෑනේ 2 square centimeters 1 square centimeter pressure P1 මේ පැත්තේ P2 so burn වල දැම්මොත් P1 plus half rho v square equals P2 plus half rho v 2 square, and the difference is this. So 4 square is 16, 16 divided by 2 is 8. That is 8000. හැබැයි අරක දීලා තියෙන 10 නේ 10 කියලා ගත්තොත් ඉන්නම් මෙතන එනවා 8 into 10 කියන්නේ 80. හරිද? මෙතන 2 into 10 කියලා කියන්නේ 20. So 80 minus 20 කියන්නේ නම් 60. එහෙම ගත්තොත් නම් මේක 60 තමයි. අරක 10 කියලානේ දීලා තියෙන්නේ නේ. 10 කියලානේ දීලා තියෙන්නේ. 10 කියලා ගත්තොත් 60. So 10 එක ඔව්. ඒක තමයි ඒක තමයි. ඉතින් 10 එන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් water කියලා දීලා තියෙනවා density. Density 1000 නේ. එතකොට අර 60 එක තමයි ගන්න ඕනේ. එහෙනම් answer 5 හරි. එතකොට හරි. right. එතකොට හරි. Right, 47. When a torque of 200 Newton meters is applied to the surface of a stationary flywheel, it produces an angular displacement of 100 rads in 5 seconds. The moment of inertia of the flywheel is, so yeah, the torque is given and they are asking for the moment of inertia, the I, and the displacement and time are given. So basically, as the question seems to be telling, it's tau equals I alpha we have to apply, because they are asking for I, tau is given, alpha, the details to find alpha are given. What are the details given to find the alpha? The displacement and the time. So they should, like, you should find the equation that includes acceleration, displacement and time. That's basically S equals omega naught into t plus half alpha t square. The displacement is 100, omega naught or the initial angular velocity is 0. So 0 into 0 t is like 0. Half, you have to find alpha. T is 5 seconds, which is 5 square. Will be 25. So that will be 200. Alpha will be 200 cross multiplied by 200 divided by 5 square, which is 25. So 200 divided by 25 is 100 divided by 25 is 4. 4 into 2 is 8. So alpha is 8 rad per square second. So now we have alpha. Tau is how much? Tau is 200. So 200 equals I into 8. So I equals 200 divided by 8 is 25. 4 yeah, divided by 2 is 25. Make out taking 25. So answer is 25 kilogram per square meter. 48. A particle of mass m moving at a velocity v penetrates a wooden block of mass m suspended as shown in the figure and moves vertically upwards a height h. The initial velocity of the bullet is. This one, right? The bullet comes, enters this one, and the mass goes to a height of m plus m. It's basically conservation of energy. The kinetic energy converts to the potential energy. So as per the question, it seems we don't consider any of circular motion here. We just consider the kinetic energy is converted into mgh, because there is no any circular motion factors given. So it's basically half mv square equals mgh. You have to apply the values carefully. So it's half, mass is m, velocity is v1, right? Equals, here the mass is m plus m into g is taken as g itself. Height is of course h. They need to find the velocity, right? They are asking for the velocity. The initial velocity v1. You have to find v1. So cross multiply this. So that will be v1 equals cross multiplied by 2 times m plus m gh divided by simple m. Sorry, it's v1 square, half m square. So the v1 should be the complete root of this one, right? V square is this. v1 should be the complete root of it. The answer is what? Three, right? No, make a capital in 3 again. Answer another. Make any m plus m, simple m, and 2 is 2gh. Answer 1. The answer is 1. Any? Yeah, 25 1. 25 28 1. 48 1. 49. As shown in the figure, a battery of 12 volt and internal resistance of 2 ohm is connected to two devices x and y. I'll make x and y devices connect are 6 ohms and 3 ohms. So if this is 6 ohms, this is 3 ohms. That's what they say respectively. What is the power consumed by x and y respectively when the devices are operating? It's basically v square over r if you can apply it, but we see that there's 2 ohms of a resistance here. If there was no resistance, the voltages between 2 of the x and y will be 12 volts. So v square over r them right? But because there is a 2 ohm resistor linear to it, there will be a voltage drop due to the 2 ohms. Or internal resistance, there will be voltage drop here. You have to calculate the voltage drop. To calculate the voltage drop, you have to take the total resistance of the circuit, right? The equivalent resistance. How do you take it? So this is 6 and 3 parallel. So 2 of the resistors parallel, you take it multiplication over addition. 6 into 3, 6 plus 9 is the total resistance. That will be 18 divided by 15. Right? 6 into 3 is 18. 6 plus 9 is 15. Dividing by 3, this will be 5. This will be 6. 6 over 5 ohms. Right? Plus, this is the equivalent resistance of 2 of those resistors, and the resistance of the circuit will be this plus 2, right? So 6 divided by 5 plus 2. That will be how much? 5 into 2 is 10. 10 plus 6 is 16. Will be 16 over 5 ohms. Okay, total resistance again. Right. Yeah. I make a 6 plus 3 නේද මට වැරදුනා නේද? 6 plus 3. Oh, sorry. I mistake, bro. I'm sorry. I've been working from the morning, and I'm like, my brain runs out of the logics now. Not logics, actually, the focus. It's 6 into 3 divided by 6 plus 3, basically. So it's that I write it 9 again. Why? Oh, 6 plus 3 is 9. That's why I'm writing 9 here. It's 6 plus 3. Okay. 6 into 3, 6 plus 3. Okay. 18 divided by 9. It's 2. That's easy. 2 plus 2 is 4. So the total resistance of the circuit is actually 2 ohms. Now if I put V equals IR, I can find the current here. 12 equals total resistance is 4 ne. May I get 2? Then again 2 may I get 2 again 4 ne. This is 4. So I equals 3 amperes. So IR what's that? IR is 3 into 2 ne. IR is 6 volts. So may I get 6 volt drop battery again 6 volts drop meya hinda. So because 6 volts are dropping, only 6 volts of voltage difference is there in between X and Y. So they are asking the power consumed. අපි ඒකට දාමු ඉතින් V square over R. P equals V square over R. So 6 square divided by 6 මෙයාට එනවා. මේක Px කියලා. Py එක එනවා එතකොට 3 square divided by, sorry, ඒකත් 6 නේ, voltage එක 6. 6 square divided by 3. So 6 square is 36. 36 divided by 6 is 6. 6 square is 36. Divided by 3 is 12. 6 12. 6 12. Answer 4. Hari ne? Okay neda? Hari neda ඔය ටික තේරෙනව නේද? මම අර in short හදන් යන්නේ. Code එක හදවන පොඩ්ඩක් දික් කළා හද. ඒතර වෙලාව චුට්ටක් වැඩි. Okay, understood. If you understand it, then that's all I want, right? හරි ඈ. මේක තේරෙන්න ඕනේ ඉතින් අපි දැන් 6 ළමයිනේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ වැඩ කරලා තින්නේ. බබාලා වගේ හොරතල් කරලා හරියන්නේ. මේ ගොඩක් කාට ක්ලාස් වල එන බබා සීන් තමයි යන්නේ. ඉතින් එහෙම නම් වැඩක් නැහැ. ඒක පොඩි උන් පව්. ඇත්ත කතාව. බබාට SFT කරලා උගන්නන්න. බබාට ET, බබාට SFT උගන්නලා ඉතින් මොකක් හරි S එකක්වත් නැතුව තමයි එළියට යන්නේ. S එක C එකක් දාලා අර හොඳ රිසල්ට් එකකට යන්න වෙන්නේ. හොඳ එකක්, හොඳ රෑන්ක් එකක් ජීවිතේට හැදෙන්නේ. බබා වගේ වුණොත් ඉන්න. ඔය පුරුදු වෙන්න ඕන කොහොම සිම්ප්ලිෆයින් පුරුදු වෙන්න ඕන. හොඳ රෑන්ක් එකකට යනවනම් අනිවාර්යෙන් සිම්ප්ලිෆයින් හොඳට පුරුදු වෙන්න ඕන. ඊට පස්සේ ෆෝකස් එක හොඳට තියෙන්න ඕන. ඔය මෙන්ටලි කන්නේව කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕන. right. බලමු මේ පාරේ ඉන්නවද කියලා හොඳ රෑන්ක් ටික යන්නේ. හොඳ මීටර් ටිකක් ඉන්නවද කියලා බලමු. right. 50. In the figure, X and Y are two filament bulbs that can be purchased in the market for home lights. Right. Two filament bulbs there, 60 watt and 10 watts. I'm going to erase this. Right. Right. Come to this one. The 50th question. In the figure, X and Y are two filament bulbs that can be purchased in the market for home lighting. Right. Those are two filament bulbs. One is 60 watts and the other one is 100 watts. And the voltage is 230. Right. Consider the following statements related to the above circuit. A. The brightness of X is greater than that of Y. So you can't directly say that, you can't directly say that because they are filament bulbs and the watts says how much they consume, right? Out of how much they consume, there's a percentage that the brightness is given. Mostly the 60% will be heat and the 40% will be light. So we can't directly say. Sometimes even 60 watts of a bulb sometimes can give a like 50%, like 50 watts of a brightness and 10% of heat, 10 of heat, and maybe 100 watts of a bulb can sometimes give a 40 watts of a brightness and 60 watts of the heat as well. So we can't say directly by just looking at the consumed energy or the number of watts which one is brighter. The brightness of X is greater than of Y. So we will hold it. We don't know actually. We'll hold it. B. The potential difference across X is greater than the potential difference across Y. So to find the potential difference, we need to find the resistance. We don't know the resistance. We can't actually tell which one has a greater potential difference. Usually the voltage is divided as per the resistance is there. We don't know the resistance is there, so can't answer that as well. By just looking at the consumption of watts, can't tell like. So if this is about the equation, just only the equation, P equals V square over R, you know, if whoever made the question, it was considering this equation, higher the power, lower the resistance in that case, right? In that case, the like 100 watts bulb has lower resistance, and 60 watts bulb has a higher resistance, right? In that case, but you can't compare like that, because there's another equation, power equals I square R. In this case, for the same current, when the power increases or the resistance increases, the power increases. So the same R works in two different ways, in two different formulas. So you can't directly say that. Now in these sort of cases, what you have to do is think. Now this is obviously you can't directly answer if you know well about the electricity. You can't directly answer because you know that these facts are not enough. Is there any answer saying factors are not enough? No, right? There are somewhat of an answer given. So in a case like this, what you have to think is, you have to think in the terms how the question make a thought about it, right? So if we consider how the question make a thought about it, he has provided the voltages and the powers, right? Voltages and powers are provided. So what can we do? What can we do? So he might have thought in the terms of this one, P equals V square over R, right? Because the voltage and the power are given, the equation with the power and voltage are like P equals V square over R. So we will take it in that terms, right? So the resistance of X is greater than the resistance of Y. So if we consider the C, the resistance of X is greater than the resistance of Y. In this case, yes, higher the power, lower the resistance. So this has a lower resistance. The resistance of X is greater than Y. Higher the power, lower the resistance. Lower resistance, higher resistance. So the statement C is correct. The resistance of X is greater than the resistance of Y. So the third statement is correct as per this equation. So now we are thinking in the terms of this, but it's not correct. You can't do it. Now see, resistance of X is greater than the resistance of Y. So I'm reading the C. B, the potential difference across X is greater than the potential difference across Y. So now this has a greater resistance now, right? So the potential difference should be greater in the greater resistance, right? Resistance එක ලොකු නම් මෙයාගේ voltage එකත් ලොකු වෙන්න ඕන. Voltage එක divide වෙනවා. The potential difference across X is greater than the potential difference of Y. Yeah, potential difference of X is greater because the resistance is greater. That is also correct. In the terms of this, the brightness of X is greater than of Y. Of course, because the resistance of X is high here, right? So if the resistance is high, hold on. We have to take in the terms of VI here now. No, we can't take in the terms of VI here now. We can take the in the terms of VI now, because the same current moves in here, right? P equals VI now, right? P equals VI now. So the same current flows in here. Because this has a higher resistance, this has a higher voltage as well. So V is high here. VI is greater here. This has a lower voltage but flows the same current. So VI is less here. So X has a higher brightness. The brightness of the X is greater than of Y is also correct. So all the three statements are true as we think in terms of this and this. But you can't. Is the true answer. You can't. Right? Because this is wrong. but think in the terms of the thinker. So the one who made the question, that will save you some time, right? Okay, sometimes those sort of things can happen, huh? It's okay, because you don't have to answer all the questions. The make අපිට හම්බුණා ඒ වගේ දැන් මේකත් sure නැහැ answers හම්බෙච්ච නැති ඒ වගේව කීපයක් හම්බුණානේ නේ. It's okay, right? මේ terms ටික හරියට දාගන්න කියන්නේ සිද්ධිය හරියට ඔලුව දාගන්න. So when it comes to the ALS paper, if there is not acceptable, you will get a all. It's okay. ඒක දෙය ගැන පොඩ්ඩක්වත් worry වෙන්න එපා. You don't have to worry about it. So what we have to discuss now is structured essay. Structured එක අමාරුද? Shall we discuss it the next week? MCQ එක නම් ඉවරයි. MCQ ට අපිට වෙලා ගියානේ 3 hours වගේ ගියා. ඒක ලේසි. second එක ලේසි නේ. අදින්න ඕකේ. ඒක මොනවා හරි අමාරු questions තිබ්බතින් කියන්න we will discuss. We have like half an hour to go. මොකද ගන්නේ? ඒකේම අපි next week ගමු. MCQ 50 එක පොඩ්ඩක් පෙන්වන්න පුළුවන්ද screenshot එකක් ගන්න. MCQ 51. එකෙන් මොකද්ද පෙන්වන්න ඕන? MCQ 51. ඒකේ 50th එක මේකනේ. ඒකනේ. right. හරිනේ. okay. Then shall we wind off today? අවුලක් නැහැ නේද? මේකේ second එක අපි යමුන තින් හැමීට ඊළඟ දවසක බලමු. මම හිතන්නේ ලේසි. the second එක discuss කරන්නද මෙහෙම? Structured essay paper 6. next week කරමු. next week කියන්නේ මෙහෙමයි. next week එකේ එනවා තව paper එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් අපි දිගටම යන්නේ දැන් model ඒවා pass paper ඉවරයිනේ 25න්. දැන් දිගටම යන්නේ model. එතකොට අපිට එක දවසයි හැම paper එකම discuss කරන්න ඉතින් ඒ කියන්නේ Monday කරා Friday discuss කරා. දැන් කලින් අපිට pass paper එක තිබ්බේ හින්දා දවස් දෙකක් තිබ්බනේ. ඒ මොනොත් බ්‍රහස්පතින්දා Thursday තමයි මේක ආපහු discuss කරන්නේ. මොකද කරන්නේ? shall we do මේක ඕනනම් අපි ස්ට්‍රක්චර් ටික බඩ් ගාලා කරගෙන යමු. හරිද? ස්ට්‍රක්චර් හතර කරන් යන් ගොඩක් ගාලා. මොකද ගන්නේ? ස්ට්‍රක්චර් ටික කතා කරගෙන යනවා. අනුජලයම කට්ටිය බෑස එපාලා තින් එහෙනම් අපි ඊළඟ ටේක් එක කරමු. හරිද? මම පොඩ්ඩක් රෙස්ට් එක කරන් ආපහු පාඩම් කරන්න ගන්න. හරිද? මේ ටික වැඩ ගන්න මැක්සිමම් කරන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මේක සෙකන්ඩ් එක මම දන්නවා ලේසි එකයි බෑ කියන්නේ. that's okay. අර මෙහෙමයි. like දැන් do your maximum. හරි. පුළුවන් උපරිමේ ගන්න. පාට යන්න පුළුවන් අවර්ස් ගන්න මැක්සිමම් කරන්න. මොකද අර ළඟ ඉන්නේ B එක පහු කරගෙන යන ගමන් ඉන්නේ. So if you like put a little bit of more efforts, 1 or 2 hours extra, few more questions per day, few more papers per day will get you to a A. හරිද? ඒකින්ද අනිවාර්යෙන් extra essay එකක් දෙකක් extra MCQ 25ක් 50ක් ගහන්න දවසට. හරි? ගහලා ඒ ලෙවල් එක හදා ගන්න. වර්ධින ඒවා ටික රිකවර් කර ගන්න. හරි? ඩිස්කස් කරන්න කාත් එක්ක හරි. තේරුම් නැත්තම් මට මෙසේජ් එකක් දාලා අහන්න සර් මේක හදන්නේ කොහොමද? so ඒ effort එක දාන්න. හරිද? මේ maximum effort එක දාන්න. දාලා කොහොම හරි ඔය ලෙවල් එක පන්නලා උඩට යන්න. අනිත් එක ඒකත් පන්නලා නතර වෙන්න එපා. වරාදනේ. ඒකත් පන්නලා 80 90 පැනලා යන්න try කරන්න පුළුවන්. හරිද? මේ ටිකේ උපරිම කරන්න. 90 පන්නලා ඒකට යන්න try කරන්න. මොකද ඔයාගේ rank එක කියන්නේ ඔයාගේ identity එක. ඔයා කවුද කියන එක තමයි ඔයාගේ rank එක නේ. ඔයාට හොඳ rank එකක් එනවා කියලා කියන්නේ that is about who you are basically. It's something very much valuable. හරිද? ඔයාට හොඳ island rank එකක් හොඳ district rank එකක් වටිනවා කියලා කියන්නේ ඔයා කවුද කියන එකනේ. නේ? ඔයා කවුද කියන එක තමයි එතකොට ඒකෙන් තේරෙන්නේ. So like don't just give it up for like very simple things. Put some more efforts. හරිද? තව ටිකක් try කරන්න පුළුවන්. 90 80 පැනලා යන්න පුළුවන්. හොඳ chance එකක් තියෙනවා. මේ පොඩි කාලයක් තියෙන මේ ටිකේ වැඩ ටික කරන් යන්න ඉතරනේ තියෙන්නේ. වැඩ ටික බහැලා කරන්න 90 80 පැනලා ඒකකට යන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම ගියොත් නේ subject තුන ගන්නට balance වෙනකොට හොඳ rank එකක් හොඳ try කරන්න පුළුවන්. maximum try කරන්න පුළුවන්. Like good luck with the studies. Do your best. I'll see you the next week. Right guys, then see you. Night.